Good evening, guys. All are getting my screen and voice. Please confirm in chat box.
Yes, sir. Audible and visible, sir.
Thanks for confirmation.
Recording in progress.
Right. So our course name is DevOps with AWS Cloud. First, I will give brief introduction about myself. Right. Myself, Raju. Right. So I have 12 years of working experience, having 12 plus years of experience. Right. Currently, I'm working as a senior technical specialist. Senior technical specialist. Right. So along with this working experience as a trainer, I have around 8 plus years of experience. 8 plus years of trainer experience also I have. 8 plus years of training experience. Right. So in my current project, guys, one important point here, I'm not only working on DevOps and AWS cloud. Right. I'm the complete full stack developer, guys. Right. So Java background, right? I'm complete full stack developer. Right. In my project, right, development, right, operations, right. So this cloud infrastructure creations, everything will be taken care by myself only. Even if you go with the DevOps, the most of the tools are developed by using Java, guys, and some of the tools, right? So the most some of the tools we are using Python also, guys. Here I can able to handle both Java and Python also. I'm expert in Java and Python also, guys. Right? From past 12 years, I'm working with this Java, DevOps, all these AWS cloud operations I'm working. So with the internals, right, everything I can able to explain in detail, guys. To take any tool in the DevOps, right, with internals, with real-time scenarios, I can able to explain. Okay, not only theoretical concept, guys. Right, only theory is not right important, guys. We need right real-time scenarios and hands-on experience also. Here I am going to provide both real-time scenarios I will provide and hands-on experience also, right? So I will provide, guys. Okay, fine. So here in my project, in my current project, what I am using, guys, in my current project, I am using right Java 17 version I am using, and Spring Boot I am using, right? Spring Boot 3.x version I am using, right? And microservices, right? So and here I am using it as UI Angular I am using, Angular we are using in my project, and DevOps operations will be taken care by myself only. And here right AWS cloud also, guys, creating the infrastructure in the AWS, right, DevOps operations and AWS cloud. Right, all these things I'm using in my current project, guys. Okay, so this is brief about myself. I have 12 plus years of working experience. Currently, I'm working as a senior technical specialist. Right. So as a trainer, I have 8 plus years of experience. I'm not only the DevOps and AWS guy. Right. So I'm full stack developer. Right, Java developer, guys. I'm the Java developer. Right, I can able to develop the microservices, and I can able to show how to deploy these microservices in the AWS cloud, how to create the Docker images for these microservices, how to upload those images in the public registries, how to deploy those images in the Kubernetes clusters. Everything I will show, guys, in detail. Right, so I will provide everything. Okay, so this is brief about myself. Okay, coming to course, guys. Coming to our course, to attend for this DevOps and AWS, what are the main prerequisites, guys? What are the main prerequisites to attend for this DevOps and AWS, guys? Here, if you have Linux basics, so Linux basics, right, very good, guys. If you have, right, so Linux basics, that is enough to attend for this DevOps and AWS cloud. Even if you don't know this Linux basics also, no problem. I'm going to start with the Linux, guys. I'm going to start with Linux. We are going to spend 8 to 10 days on this Linux only. Right, almost we are going to spend first 8 to 10 days on this Linux only, guys. So even if you don't know the Linux basics also, no problem. We are going to cover the slide. We are going to cover Linux also here, guys. Okay, so Linux is the prerequisites to attend for this course. Even if you don't know Linux also, no problem, guys. Once again, I'm telling, I'm going to start with Linux basics. Right, we are going to spend almost 8 to 10 days on only on this Linux, guys. Okay, fine. So next, guys, coming to course content, guys. So here the entire course I have divided into multiple parts, guys. The course I have divided into multiple parts. Course content I have divided into multiple parts. As part one, right, I'm going to discuss Linux, guys. I'm going to discuss Linux, right, and shell scripting also. Linux and shell scripting also I'm going to discuss it here. Including this Linux and shell scripting, I'm going to spend almost 13 to 14 days, guys. 13 to 14 days I'm going to spend on this Linux and shell scripting, guys. Part 1, I'm going to discuss Linux and shell scripting. Right? So as part 2, I'm going to discuss AWS Cloud. AWS Cloud, guys. Okay. How many services we are going to discuss in the AWS Cloud? First, tell me total how many services are available in AWS Cloud, guys. We have 250 plus services in AWS Cloud. We have 250 plus services in the AWS Cloud, guys. Right. So do you require to learn all these 250 services as DevOps engineer? No, not required, guys. Not required. So how many services we are going to discuss in our regular sessions? See, if you join it outside, guys, in other institutes, right, DevOps with AWS means, right, mostly they will cover, right, 6 to 7 AWS services. Okay. Okay. Even if you join only for the AWS Cloud course also, right, they will cover 12 to 13 AWS services, guys. But here, so in this DevOps with AWS Cloud only, we are going to discuss 20 plus services, guys. 20 plus services we are going to discuss. What services I am going to discuss, I will note it down here. Please wait. Right, total 20 plus services we are going to discuss in the AWS Cloud. Minimum, guys. Minimum 20 plus services. If required, we will add few more services also. Okay, so this is part 2, guys. And as part 1, we are going to discuss the prerequisites only. What are the prerequisites to attend for this course? Linux is the prerequisite to attend for this course. As part 1, we are going to discuss Linux and shell scripting, guys. How many days we are going to spend on this Linux and shell scripting? 13 to 14 days we are going to spend on this Linux and shell scripting only. So as part 2, we are going to discuss AWS Cloud. How many services we are going to learn in this AWS Cloud? 20 plus services. If you attend this 20 plus services, you guys can write AWS practitioner certification exam, guys. Right? You guys easily can crack practitioner, AWS practitioner certification exam if you complete this 20 plus services, guys. Fine. So next one, part 3. Part 3. So as part 3, we are going to learn DevOps tools. DevOps tools, guys. Right? How many DevOps tools we are going to learn? Okay. Before coming to this DevOps tools, alright, I will discuss, right, introduction of the DevOps, guys. Introduction of the DevOps, I will discuss it here. Right? Here only, right, I will discuss, right, what is DevOps, why DevOps is required. Before DevOps, right, what is the situation, right, after came, right, once DevOps came into the picture, right, how the things are going smooth, right, all these things we are going to discuss, guys. Next, what are the different SDLC methodologies are available, what is waterfall methodology, right, what is agile methodology, right, differences between waterfall and agile methodology, everything we are going to discuss in this introduction part. At part 3, we are going to talk about introduction of the DevOps, guys. Okay. As part 4, we are going to discuss DevOps tools. DevOps tools, guys. How many tools we are going to discuss? here we are going to discuss 15 plus tools we are going to discuss. 20 plus AWS services and 15 plus DevOps tools we are going to discuss it here. Okay, so what 15 plus tools? Right, Maven, right, GitHub, Jenkins, right, CI/CD pipeline creations, and the Docker Swarm, Terraform, Ansible, Kubernetes, monitoring tools, Prometheus, Grafana, ELK stack, right, and Nexus. Like this, 15 plus DevOps tools we are going to discuss it here. Okay, so after this, part 5. And here we are going to discuss real-time projects, guys. Real-time projects we are going to discuss. How many real-time projects? Minimum 2 to 3 projects we will practice, guys. Minimum 2 to 3 projects we will practice. Real-time projects means what we will do? Real-time projects means what we will do, guys. As a DevOps engineer, what you need to do in the companies, everything I will do and right in front of you guys only, guys. The complete integration I will do in front of you guys only. Right, integration, guys. Right, I need to integrate Maven with the Jenkins. I need to integrate Sonar with the Jenkins, Nexus with the Jenkins, Docker with the Jenkins, Kubernetes with the Jenkins, GitHub with the Jenkins. Right? How to do all these integration? Right? Once a developer is commit the code, right, from the GitHub to till Kubernetes cluster, how the flow will go one by one. Everything we are going to understand in this real-time project. Complete setup I will do in front of you guys only. Right, if you attend for this real-time project, right, once you join in the companies, you guys can work how 3 plus 4 plus years of people are working in the company with same confidence. You guys also can work in the companies, guys. Right, if you attend for this real-time project session. Okay, so after this, right, as part 6, guys, right, this is one of the important, guys. Right, you can check. Outside institutes, you can check, guys. Anyone is covering, along with this DevOps and AWS, anyone is covering Python scripting? Anyone is covering Python scripting? You can check with your friends, guys. No one is covering Python scripting. Just they are discussing DevOps and AWS only. They are not focusing on the Python scripting, guys. But nowadays, companies are expecting Python scripting also. Right? They are expecting Python scripting also, guys. That's why here I am going to discuss Python scripting also. Guys, I'm not going to discuss entire Python. If I want to discuss entire Python, we need to spend 2 months, guys. Right? For DevOps engineers, how much Python scripting is required, up to that level I will handle. Guys, basics also I will discuss. What is Python? How to write the conditions in Python? How to write the loops in the Python? How to write the classes? How to create the objects? How to write the functions? What are the different operators we have? Some basics also I will discuss, guys. Basics too, right? Writing the Python script for our DevOps tools, right? Everything I'm going to discuss it here, guys. Almost we are going to spend, right, 12 to 15 hours. 12 to 15 hours I will spend on this Python scripting, guys. Guys, observe this course content once. As part 1, we are going to discuss Linux and shell scripting. To attend for this DevOps and AWS course, Linux is the prerequisites. And even if you don't know the Linux also, no problem. Here I am going to start with Linux only. And in Linux and shell scripting, we are going to spend 13 to 14 days, guys. Right? Linux and shell scripting we are going to discuss as part 1. Right? After that, as part 2, we are going to discuss AWS Cloud. In AWS Cloud, we are going to discuss 20 plus services. Not 1 or 2, guys, 20 plus services. The most important 20 plus services we are going to discuss it here. After that, as part 3, I am going to discuss introduction of the DevOps. What is DevOps? Why DevOps? Right? So what is SDLC? What are the different methodologies in SDLC? What is waterfall? What is agile methodology? Differences between waterfall and agile methodology. Everything I am going to cover in this introduction part. As part 4, I am going to talk about the DevOps tools. DevOps tools, guys. Right here, how many DevOps tools I am going to discuss? 15 plus DevOps tools. 15 plus DevOps tools I am going to discuss it here, guys. Okay, as part 5, guys. As part 5, real-time projects. 2 to 3. Minimum 2, guys. Minimum 2 to 3 projects I am going to show, guys. Real-time project means what we will do. What we will do in the real-time project? Complete setup. As a DevOps engineer, what you need to do in the company, that complete setup I will do in front of you guys only. Integrating all the DevOps tools, guys. We need to integrate all the DevOps tools. Whenever developer commit the code in the GitHub repository, right, our DevOps, right, Jenkins should trigger, right, all the activities should be done one by one, guys, automatically. All the activities should be done one by one automatically. For that, how to write the CI/CD pipeline? What are the different stages we need to take in the CI/CD pipeline? How to integrate all the tools with the Jenkins? Everything I'm going to show right here in this real-time project session, guys. Okay. So after this, Python scripting, guys. Right, nowadays in the companies, guys, right, they are asking the questions. How they will ask the questions in the Python scripting means, right, so they will show some code, guys. They will show some code, right? That code contains, right, 200 to 300 lines of the code they are showing, and they are asking to explain that code, guys. They're asking to explain that code, what that code will do. And you should know the basics, guys. You should know minimum basics. Then only you guys can able to explain. What you should know, guys, how to write the class, how to write the function, how to write the condition, right? How to create the objects, how to access the methods of the class. Right? These basics you should know. Then only you can able to understand that code, and then you can able to explain that code, guys. Right? So here I'm going to spend 12 to 15 hours on the Python scripting also. Okay, so after this, right, as part 7, I'm going to take one session for the resume preparation also. Right, separate session is required for resume preparation. Yes, 100%. Right, I have so many DevOps resumes. If you guys want, I can share those resumes, guys. But here we are learning lot of things. Right, compare with the outside people, we are learning lot of things. So we need to keep all these things properly in the resume. We need to keep Linux, shell scripting, Python scripting, 20 plus AWS services, 15 plus DevOps tools. All these things we need to keep in the resume properly. That's why I'm taking separate session, 2 hours separate session for the resume preparation, guys. Okay, so this is the course content, guys. Just have a look into this. Guys. I have divided the course into 7 parts, guys. Just have a look into this once. Guys, one by one I will come again. Right, in the AWS cloud, what services we are going to discuss. In the DevOps tools, what tools we are going to cover. One by one I will explain once again. First, high level, have a look into this. Right. Perfect, guys. Is it clear, guys? Guys, please respond. Two-way communication is required. Guys. Then I will get more interest and I can deliver more subject, guys. As a real-time working employee, right, I will try to provide more real-time scenarios, guys. When I can provide more scenarios, right, if you guys are responded when I ask the question, then only I can able to provide more real-time scenarios. If you guys are not responding, right, I also won't get the interest, guys. So please respond when I ask the questions, guys. You guys can ask any question. No problem. I'm ready to hear, to explain, guys. You guys can ask any question. Right? If you guys want, I will explain multiple times also. Not a problem. But right, when I ask the question, please respond. Then I will understand whether you guys are following or not, guys. Fine, guys. Is it clear? Guys? Good, guys. Right. First, in part 1, what we are going to discuss. Guys. Right. In part 1, right, what is Linux, guys? Linux is a operating system, guys. So here we are going to understand what is operating system. Right? Linux is what? Operating system. So here first we are going to understand what is operating system. So next here, what is the difference between Windows and Linux operating system? What is the difference between Windows and Linux operating systems? difference between Windows and Linux operating system. Next, Linux introduction, guys. Linux introduction. What introduction, guys? Right. So how the Linux came, right? Who implemented this Linux, right? So what are the different distributions we have in the Linux, right? How the name Linux came, everything we are going to discuss, guys. Right here, Linux introduction and Linux setup. And Linux setup, guys. Linux introduction and Linux setup, guys. Right, where I am going to do this Linux setup, guys? Right, we can do in our Windows machine also. Right, this Linux setup we can do in our Windows machine also, guys. But in the Windows machine, right, if you do this Linux setup also, your system performance will be reduced, guys. Right, in same machine, two operating systems are running means automatically your system performance will be reduced. Right, in your Windows machine, your Windows is going to work as a host operating system. Linux we are going to install as the guest operating system. If you want to install any guest operating system on top of your Windows machine, right, we need to use one software that is called as hypervisor software. By using that hypervisor software, guys, I will take the questions at the end. Please wait some time, guys. I will take the questions at the end, guys. Okay. Right, here by using hypervisor software, right, we can install the Linux operating system in Windows machine. But what will happen? Your system performance will be reduced and it will take more boot up time also, guys. That's why we are not going to install, we are not going to set up the Linux in our Windows machine. Then where we are going to create? In the AWS cloud only, we are going to create Linux virtual machine. And from our Windows machine, we are going to connect with that Linux virtual machine and we are going to perform the required operations. And we need to install some client softwares, guys, like GitHub. Right, so these are the right. Git software is available, Putty is available, MobXtream is available. These are the different client softwares we have. We need to install those client softwares in our machine. With those client softwares, we can connect to the Linux virtual machine, which we have created in the AWS cloud. Okay, so there we are going to do the Linux setup, guys. Okay, so after this Linux introduction and Linux setup, right, we are going to understand Linux commands, guys. Linux commands, right? Very important. Only on this Linux commands only I'm going to spend 5 to 6 days, guys. 5 to 6 days I'm going to spend to discuss only the commands, guys. Only the commands, only to discuss the commands only I'm going to spend 5 to 6 days, guys. After completing this Linux commands, I will talk about the shell scripting, guys. Shell scripting. How many days we are going to this shell scripting? At 4 days minimum. 4 days I will discuss about this shell scripting, guys. Total 13 to 14 days we are going to spend on this part 1. Just have a look into this part 1, guys. Just have a look into this part 1. And meanwhile, I will check some right question, guys. Some people are raised the questions. Right, guys, opportunities means freshers opportunities means compare with experienced people. Obviously freshers will get some less opportunities only, but whenever opportunity came, we should utilize that opportunity, guys. Right, how you can utilize that? Right, you need to practice day to day. Right, whatever we discussed in today's session, today itself you need to practice. At least daily you need to spend minimum 2 to 3 hours for practice, guys. Then whenever you got the opportunity, you guys can crack the interviews easily. Compare with experienced people, right? Not only DevOps with AWS cloud, guys. If you go with any technology, whether it is Java or Python or anything, guys, compare with experienced people. Freshers will get the little bit less opportunities only, but you should utilize whenever you got the opportunity. So, right, if you want to utilize that, compulsory, you should practice day to day, guys. Right, from my end, in the sense, right, if we have any if I have any opportunities in my companies or my friends' companies, right, definitely we will refer, guys. So these questions we will discuss at the end. Right, these questions I will discuss at the end, guys. DB migrations, okay. Right, guys, Amadu Red. You can ask your question. What is your question? Someone is raised their hand. What is your question? Only I will tell. How to cover the gap, I will tell. Okay. At the end, we will discuss all those things. Fine. Fine, guys. Guys, at the end, I will unmute. Right, I will take all your questions. Please be patient, guys. At the end of the session, I will unmute and I will take your questions. Right. For freshers also. Right, if you attend for this course, right, you can work, right, how 4 plus 5 plus years of experience people are working. So like that you can VPC. Guys, give me some time. I will write all these things. I haven't written, right, Ravi Kumar. Right, please give me some time. I will write each and everything what I am going to cover in the AWS cloud. So then you will know. Then you will get to know what I am going to cover. Please. Right, guys. Coming to part 2, guys, AWS cloud. Coming to part 2, AWS cloud, guys. What I am going to discuss in the AWS cloud. Right, before going to start AWS cloud, first I will give some introduction about the cloud computing, guys. What is cloud computing? What is cloud computing? Right, so why we need to go for the cloud computing? If you set up the infrastructure on your premises, in-house infrastructure, right, what is the problems? Right, advantages of cloud computing, right, how the services are segregated, how the cloud services are segregated. Right, cloud services are segregated in 3 ways, guys. Right, those are infrastructure as service, right, platform as service, right, software as service, guys. Software as service. Right, so these are the 3 ways, guys. Right, cloud services are segregated in 3 ways: infrastructure as service, platform as service, software as services, guys. Right, any cloud, guys. So these are the 3 ways they have segregated the services, guys. Right, after that, I will discuss about AWS, guys. Introduction of AWS. And here I will show how to create the free tier account. Free tier account creation in AWS cloud. Next, AWS services overview. Next, right, regions and availability zones in the AWS. Right, regions and availability zones in AWS, guys. Right, this is the introduction, guys. Up to here, introduction which I am going to discuss. After this, the actual services are going to start now. Right, after this, the actual services will start, guys. Right, see, guys, observe carefully what services. Right, as a first service, we are going to talk about EC2 service, guys. What is EC2 stands for? Elastic. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Guys. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay, by using this EC2, what we can do? We can create the virtual machines in the AWS cloud. Whether it is Windows virtual machine or Linux virtual machine or Mac virtual machine. Any type of virtual machines we can create in AWS cloud. If you want to create the virtual machines, compulsory we should know EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. By using this service only, we are going to create the virtual machines, guys. Okay, so next, guys. Next we are going to talk about AMI. AMI stands for what? Amazon Mission Images. Guys. If you want to create the virtual machine, we should use some images, guys. We should use some templates, guys. And here AMI is the Amazon Mission Images which we will use to create the virtual machine, guys. If you want to create the virtual machines, we need to use some images. Right here, AMI is providing those images. By using these images only, we will create the virtual machines, guys. Here, we are going to discuss right what is AMI, how to create the custom AMIs, what are the images AWS is providing. All those things we are going to understand it here. Okay, next, guys. Right, next one, right, ELB, elastic EBS, guys. EBS. It means what? Elastic block store. Elastic block store, guys. By using this, what we can do, guys? Generally, when we create the EC2 virtual machine, along with that EC2 virtual machine, we will get some root volume, guys. Right? Suppose if you create the Linux virtual machine, then you will get 8 GB root volume. Suppose if you create the Windows virtual machine, then you will get 30 GB root volume. But whenever you terminate that EC2 instance, automatically that root volume also will be terminated. So if whatever the data, if you store any data inside the root volume, you will lose that data also. That's why storing the data inside the root volume is not recommended. Then what do we need to do? Where we need to store the data? We need to create the additional volumes, and we need to attach that additional volume with the EC2 instance, and you need to store the data inside the additional volume. Once your work is completed, you can detach the additional volume from the EC2 instance. Later, if you terminate the EC2 instance also, no problem, your data is safe in the additional volumes. Additional volume is nothing but pen drives, hard disk, guys. How we are attaching the hard disk to your system. And after once work is finished, how you will detach the hard disk from the system. Same here also, we will create the additional volumes, and we can attach the additional volume with the EC2 instance, and we can detach the additional volume from the EC2 instances. All those things we are going to discuss in EBS. EBS is nothing but what? Elastic block store. Right? After this, we are going to discuss ELB. ELB. ELB stands for what? Elastic load balancer. Elastic load balancer. Guys, generally in the real time, we will deploy the applications in multiple servers. We will deploy the applications in multiple servers. Why we need to deploy the application in the multiple servers? Suppose if you deploy the application in the single server, right, if load is increased, if burden is increased, server may take more time to provide the response. See, guys, here I have deployed one application. Observe carefully. Here I have deployed one application, guys. Here I have deployed one application. So this is my server, guys. And in the server, I have deployed one application, guys. I have deployed one application. Right? So now people are sending the request to the server to access this application. Currently, I have deployed the application in the single server, but right, so per hour, right, lakhs of requests are coming, millions of requests are coming. So now tell me, one server can handle millions of requests, guys? One server can handle millions of requests? No, it is very difficult. Right? Server, it will take more time to provide the response. Sometimes server may get crash also because of heavy load, guys. Because of heavy traffic, server may get crash also. Simple example I will give, guys. And here we have 60 years aged person. 60 years aged person is there, guys. Now, so this is the source and this is the destination. Right? That 60 years aged person need to go from source to destination by walk, guys. By walk. So now here I have given 10 kgs weight. I have given 10 kgs weight to that person to carry from source to destination, guys. How much weight? 10 kg weight I have given. Okay, 10 kgs only, right? He can go, guys. Right? After that, right, I have increased the weight up to 20 kgs, guys. Okay, he can go 20 kgs, no problem. After that, right, a little bit I increased it up to 50 kgs, guys. 60 years aged person. Right, he need to travel 10 kilometers by walk, right, with 50 kgs weight. Okay, he will go, but some little bit slow he will go. Right, I will increase the weight up to 100 kgs, guys. 100 kgs, guys. Right, guys, 60 years aged person, right, 10 kgs far, right. So by walk he needs to carry this 100 kgs weight, guys. Is it possible? Is it possible, guys? Right? He may take more time, guys. He may take more time, or right, he may fell down also, guys. He may fell down also. Right, same here also. If you deploy the application in the single server, if one request came, no problem. 10 requests are coming, no problem. 100 requests are coming, no problem. 1 million requests are coming. Right, server right take more time to provide the response, or server may get crash also. Right, because of that reason, in real time, we need to deploy the application in multiple servers. We need to deploy the application in multiple servers. Okay, right, I have deployed my application in 10 servers. Okay, requests are coming. How you will distribute the right load, that traffic, that request to multiple servers? Right, in 10 servers, my application is running. How you will distribute the load to these 10 servers? Right, that load balancer will take care. Right, whatever the servers you are using, in which servers your application is running, all the servers we need to attach to the load balancer. Right, first all the requests will come to the load balancer. Load balancer will distribute the load to multiple servers. That's why right, we need to create the load balancers, guys. Right, we can create the load balancer for monolith architecture based applications and microservices architecture based applications also. Here we are going to understand both. How to create the load balancer for monolith architecture based application, how to create the load balancer for microservices architecture based applications, we are going to understand here. Okay, so after this, right, we are going to discuss ASG. ASG, guys. ASG stands for what? Auto scaling group. Auto scaling group. It means what, guys? Right, here I have deployed the application in 10 servers, guys. I assume array daily 10 lakhs requests will come. Right, to handle 10 lakhs requests, 10 servers are sufficient. Right, this is the right by assumption. That's why I have set up 10 servers, guys. Okay, few days 10 lakh requests are coming, my 10 servers are providing the response properly. I don't know, suddenly my application got more popularity. Right, my application got more popularity. Suddenly per day 20 lakhs requests are coming. 20 lakhs requests are coming. But here how many servers are there? Only 10 servers. Right, so these 10 servers can handle only 10 lakh requests. What about remaining 10 lakh requests? Right, so to handle remaining 10 lakh requests, you need 10 more servers, guys. You need 10 more servers. Your application is in live. Your application is in production environment, guys. Now how you can add 10 more servers, guys? How you can add 10 more servers? It should be happened automatically. It should be happened automatically, guys. Right, if load is increased, right, I want to increase the number of servers. If load is decreased, I want to decrease the number of servers automatically. Right, increasing the servers is nothing but scale up. Decreasing the servers is nothing but scale down. That scale up and scale down should be happened automatically. That we are going to see by using auto scaling group. Right, how to increase the number of servers, how to decrease the number of servers automatically, that we are going to understand in auto scaling group, guys. Guys, up to here clear? Up to here clear? Guys, I will take your questions. Please wait. Right, please let me finish the course content. Right, so now if I stop this here and I will come to your questions, right, I can't able to finish this course content. Right, so already I told we have very huge course content. Just to discuss course content, only 2 days is required. Okay, please try to understand. Right, so up to here clear, guys? EC2, AMI, EBS, ELB, ASG, guys. Okay, next, guys. Next here, right, next after this, right, we are going to understand right, route 53, guys. Route 53. Right, what we will do with this route 53, right, just we are going to map domain name with your load balancer URL. I want to map domain name with my virtual machine IP address. I want to map domain name with my S3 bucket URL. To do that mapping, we are going to use route 53 service. By using route 53, what we are doing? We are doing the mapping, guys. See here, observe carefully, guys. I have deployed my application. In 10 servers, guys. And all these 10 servers are connected to the load balancer. See, guys, this is my load balancer. And here I have deployed my application in 10 servers. All these servers are connected to the load balancer, guys. So now Right? Whenever we have created the load balancer, this load balancer will have the URL, guys. This load balancer will have the URL. Guys, observe carefully. Gmail application is available. That Gmail application is deployed in 10 servers, guys. Right. Now, tell me, guys, do you know the IP addresses of all the Gmail servers, guys? Do you know the IP addresses of all the Gmail servers? Do you know the IP addresses of all the Gmail servers? We don't know. We don't know the IP addresses of the Gmail servers. Then how you are sending the request, man? Right. All the Gmail servers are connected to the load balancer. This load balancer have one URL, guys. Load balancer DNS URL is available. This load balancer have one URL, guys. DNS URL. Load balancer have one URL, guys. Right. This DNS URL is too long, too lengthy, guys. If I share this URL to the public, they can't able to remember this URL, guys. They can't able to remember this URL, guys. Then what we need to do, guys? We need to purchase one domain, guys. We need to purchase one domain, guys. Assume that the domain name is gmail.com. Right, the domain name is gmail.com, guys. Now here what I am going to do, I am going to map this gmail.com domain with the DNS URL, guys, load balancer URL. Guys, all the Gmail servers are connected to the load balancer. This load balancer have one URL, but this load balancer URL is too lengthy. If I share this load balancer URL to the public, they can't able to remember this URL. Then what I am doing here, I am purchasing one domain name, that is gmail.com. This domain name I am going to map with the load balancer URL, and I will give this domain name to the public. Gmail.com is the domain name. I will give this domain name to the public so they can able to remember. They will send the request, public will send the request to this domain name. Internally, it is mapped with the load balancer URL, right? All the requests will come to this load balancer. Load balancer will distribute the load to these servers, guys. This is what is going to happen internally. So now, by using Route 53, what we can do? We are going to do this mapping. At gmail.com to this URL, load balancer URL, we are going to do mapping by using Route 53. If you want, you can map gmail.com with your virtual machine IP address. If you want, you can map gmail.com with your S3 bucket URL. So all these mappings we will do by using Route 53 service. Okay? Is it clear why we are going to use Route 53? Right. After this Route 53, we are going to use S3, guys. S3. What is S3, guys? S3 stands for simple storage service. Simple storage service, guys. So this is the one of the storage device, guys. In the S3, we will create the buckets. In the buckets, we will store the objects, guys. S3 is the unlimited storage device, guys. And here we are going to store the files, guys. Files and directories we will store in the S3, guys. And here we have a lot of options, guys. Versioning we can do. We can upload the static website, and we can create the pre-signed URLs, object locking, encryptions, lot of things we can do, right? All those things we will discuss in S3, guys. And here up to now, right, seven services I have written. In these 7, what are the storages we have, guys? What are the different storages we have in the 7? Right, one is EBS, second one is S3. EBS also storage only, right? Elastic Block Store. We are creating the additional volumes to store the data. Here S3 also same. EBS and S3, these two are the storage devices, guys. Okay, fine. So after S3, right, I will talk about RDS, guys. RDS stands for what? Relational Database Service. Right here, Relational Database Service, RDS. Relational Database Service. Relational Database Service, guys. Okay. So here what we are going to do? Right, Relational Database Services means what we have? Right, we have, right, MySQL is there. We have, right, so Oracle is there. Oracle, MySQL, PostgreSQL, all these are the relational databases only. Right, in the AWS, we are going to create the database. Whenever you have created the database, you will get some properties, guys. What properties? Name of the database, endpoint, username, password, port number, all these details you will get, guys. You are creating the database in the AWS cloud. right? And you will get all these details, right? After creating the database, you need to share all this information with the development team, right? So what development team will do? They will use those details in their application, guys. They have some configuration files. They have some configuration files, guys, right? The YAML files are configuration properties files are available in there, right? They will configure all the details through application. They will connect with the database through application. They will perform all the operations in the database, guys. Right here, how to create the relational database and how to connect with the database and how to perform the operations in the database, we are going to discuss it here. Okay, so next one is DynamoDB. DynamoDB, guys, here we are not creating the database, guys. DynamoDB, we are not creating the database. This is AWS own product, guys. Database already is there, right? In that we are going to create the tables, guys. Here just we are creating the table. But if you go to RDS, here we are going to create the database. In the DynamoDB, we are creating the tables, guys. RDS is the relational database service. DynamoDB is the NoSQL, guys. NoSQL service, guys. NoSQL. Okay, right. After this, right, see, guys, right, EC2, AMI, EBS, ELB, ASG, Route 53, S3, right. So after DynamoDB, right, I will talk about VPC. Very important topic. I am going to spend almost 4 days on VPC. 4 to 5 days I am going to spend on this VPC only. VPC stands for what? Virtual Private Cloud. Virtual Private Cloud. Right, I am going to spend 4 to 5 days on this VPC only, guys. Right, security group, right, NAT gateway, right, everything is NACL, security group. And here, what is VPC, how to create the subnets, right, what is public subnet, what is private subnet, how to create the internet gateway, how to provide the network to your VPC, right. Next, guys, VPC peering, what is the route tables, what is the NAT gateway, VPC sizing, how to distribute the IP addresses to the subnets, everything we are going to discuss here. Everything we are going to discuss it here, guys. And we are going to spend 4 to 5 days on the VPC only. And in all our 20 services, VPC is one of the most important service, guys. VPC is one of the most important service. By using VPC, we are going to provide the private network, right? To provide the private network, we are going to use this VPC concept, guys. Very important concept. Okay, right? After this VPC, right, we are going to discuss CloudWatch, guys. Right, CloudWatch. Right, CloudWatch. What is this CloudWatch? CloudWatch is the monitoring tool, guys. Right, for monitoring purpose. Monitoring tool. CloudWatch is a monitoring tool, guys. For monitoring purpose, we will use this CloudWatch, guys. Okay, right, CloudWatch will monitor your resources, how much CPU is utilized, and everything it will monitor, guys. And here we need to set the alarm, guys. Whenever, right, for that alarm we need to set up one trigger point. Whenever it reaches the trigger point, right, alarm will be CloudWatch will press the alarm will push the notification to the SNS, guys. Simple notification service, it will push the messages to SNS, and from there subscribers will subscribe the messages, guys. That everything practically I will show that, guys. Practically I will show that. After that CloudWatch, we are going to discuss CloudFormation. CloudFormation, guys. What is this CloudFormation, guys? Right, this is one of the infrastructure as code, guys. Infrastructure as code, guys. If you want to create the infrastructure in the AWS cloud, we have multiple ways are there, guys. One is through AWS Management Console. Through AWS Management Console means UI. Through UI, you can create the infrastructure. And the second option is by writing some code also you can create the infrastructure. First one is through UI you can create. Second option is by writing some code also you can create the infrastructure, guys. Here, CloudFormation is one of the IAC tool. Infrastructure as code tool, guys. Right? By using this, what we are doing? We are creating the infrastructure in the AWS cloud, guys. Okay, next, guys. Next here, guys, Terraform also one of the IAC only, but Terraform will provide the support for any cloud, but CloudFormation will provide the support only for the AWS cloud, guys. Only AWS cloud. Okay, so after that we are going to discuss some of the services like SQS, right? SQS, simple queue service, simple queue service, right? Next, SNS, SNS, simple notification service, simple notification service, right? Next, SES, right? SES, simple email service, simple email service, right? Next, ECS guys. Next, elastic container service guys. ECS, elastic container service we are going to discuss. Next one is next EKS, elastic Kubernetes service, elastic Kubernetes service we are going to discuss. Next, the most important, one more important is IAM guys. IAM. So this is one of the frequently used one guys, right? This is one of the frequently used service, that is IAM guys. Identity and access management. Identity and access management. Identity and access management guys. Next here, right, we are going to understand AWS CLI. AWS CLI, command line interface guys. Through command line interface we will connect to the AWS, and from through command line interface only we are going to access all the AWS resources guys. At command line interface, command line interface guys. Okay, next here elastic beanstalk, elastic beanstalk guys. Elastic beanstalk. Right here, what we are going to do guys, elastic beanstalk means, see, if you want to run any application, we should require the platform guys, right? So AWS is providing the infrastructure. By using that infrastructure, we need to create the required platform to run our application. But sometimes you may don't have the time to create the platform guys. You need to spend more time on the application development only. You don't have the time to create the platform to run the application. No problem, right? Here AWS is providing one service as platform as a service. AWS is providing platform as service guys, that is elastic beanstalk. Just give your application to elastic beanstalk. This elastic beanstalk will create the required platform to run your application. You don't need to create the any platform guys. You don't need to create any platform. Just focus on your application development. Once it is done, give your application to this elastic beanstalk. It will create the platform which is required to run your application guys. Okay, elastic beanstalk is one of the PaaS service, PaaS, platform as service guys. At the beginning I have written, right, IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. Right, this elastic beanstalk is one of the PaaS service guys. Okay, after that, right, one more important one is, right, AWS lambdas. AWS lambdas guys. AWS lambdas we are going to discuss. Right, after this I will give some of the billing related information. Billing related information, right, etc. So these are the services which we are going to discuss in the AWS guys. First, have a look into the services guys. First, have a look into the services. First one is EC2, right? Elastic Compute Cloud. What is the purpose of this guys? To create the virtual machines, we will use this EC2 guys. AMI, right? If you, instead of creating the virtual machine from scratch, I have some template. Use this template, right, to create the virtual machine. If you use this template, you no need to create from scratch, right? Few of the things are already available in the template. Apart these things, if you want any extra things, just you need to add. So those things are available in the AMI, Amazon Mission Image. Just it is a template. See guys, I want to prepare one resume, right? Preparing the resume from scratch, right, is different, and you can take the resume from your friend and just to do the required modifications. That is different guys. Which one is easy? Taking the resume from the friends and do the required modifications. Same here also, right? Instead of creating the virtual machine from scratch, AWS is providing some AMIs. In these AMIs, operating systems and some of the packages and everything is installed. Right? Take these AMIs. On top of these AMIs, if you want anything extra, you can install. Right? If you want, if you required, if you enough these things with these things, right, you can use it as it is. If you want extra, you can install on top of that, guys. AMI is nothing but sample template. By using the template only, we are creating the virtual machines. Okay, fine. So next one is EBS, Elastic Block Store. By using this, we are creating the additional volumes. We are going to attach those additional volumes with the EC2 instance. Right? We can detach the volumes. Same volume you can attach to another EC2 instance also. Right? If you want, you can take the backup of the volume also by using snapshots concept. Here we have snapshot concept. By using that, we will create the backup for the volumes case. Next, we have ELB, Elastic Load Balancer. To distribute the load to multiple servers, we need to create the load balancer. Right here, we can create the load balancer for monolith architecture based application, and we can create the load balancer for microservices architecture based application also. Next one is ASG, auto scaling group. Right, I want to increase the number of servers and decrease the number of servers automatically based on the traffic. Right, for that we are going with this ASG, auto scaling group. Route 53. I want to map the domain name with the load balancer URL. I want to map the domain name with the virtual machine IP address. I want to map the domain name with the S3 bucket URL. For that, we are going to use Route 53. For mapping purpose, we will use this Route 53, guys. S3. It is the storage, guys. Right, in the S3. S3 is unlimited storage. Inside this, we can store the objects and we can access the objects. We can download the objects. We can upload the objects. Everything we can do, guys. So next one is RDS, Relational Database Service, guys. Here we are going to create the database. With those database properties, we will give it to the development team. Development team will configure those details in their application. Right, through application, they will connect with the database and they will do the operations with this table, guys, in this database. Next, guys, DynamoDB. Here we are not creating the database. Right? DynamoDB is the AWS own product. Here just we are creating the tables and we will give the table information to the development team. Development team will configure in their application and they will connect through the application, guys. Next one is VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. So this is one of the private networks. To create the private network, we are going to use VPC. Here we are going to understand what is the large network, how to create the subnets, what is public subnet, what is private subnet, what is internet gateway, what is the route tables, what is NAT gateway, what is VPC peering, what is security groups, right? What is NACL, all those things we are going to discuss in VPC. Okay, next one is CloudWatch, guys. For monitoring purpose, I want to monitor AWS resources, guys. Right, when you are using, right, when you are creating the infrastructure in the AWS cloud, you will use multiple resources, guys. Right, we will use EC2 instance, we will use S3 bucket, we will use RDS database, multiple things we are using. So I want a person to monitor all these things, guys. For that, we are going to use CloudWatch. CloudWatch will monitor everything. CloudWatch will monitor everything, guys. If anything goes wrong, it will give the, right, it will press the alarm. Alarm will push the messages in the notification in the SNS topic. From the SNS topic, right, subscribers will get the emails and messages and everything, guys. Okay. After that, we have the cloud formation. Here, infrastructures we can create in two ways. Through UI, user interface, we can create the infrastructure, and by writing the code also we can create the infrastructure. And here, cloud formation is one of the IAC tool, infrastructure as code. Infrastructure as code, guys. By writing the code, we are creating the infrastructure in the AWS cloud, guys. We have Terraform also. Terraform will provide the support for any cloud, guys. Cloud formation will provide the support only for the AWS cloud. Next is SQS, SNS, SES, guys. And SES. Okay. So these are the simple queue services, notification services, email services, guys. And the next important one is Elastic Container Service, guys. And here what we are doing, guys, right here, you want to create the container, right? We should have the Docker image, guys. From that image only we will create the container. Generally, if you have the Docker image, right, we need to write one command to create the container, which is the Docker run command. So we need to add so many, right, options also in the Docker run command, guys. What options? You need to do the port mappings and you need to add the network and all those things you need to do. Instead of doing all those things, if you have the Docker image, just give the Docker image, just give the Docker image to the ECS. ECS will create the container for based on your image, guys. For your image, ECS will create the container. Inside the container, your application will be running, guys. Okay, how to create the, right, how to create the containers by using ECS, we are going to discuss it here. Next, Elastic Kubernetes Service, guys, EKS. EKS means Elastic Kubernetes Service, guys. Here what we are going to do, guys. Here we are going to create the Kubernetes cluster, guys. Right, Kubernetes clusters we can create in two ways. One is the self-manager cluster. Second one is the provider manager cluster. Self-manager cluster means we need to create on our own. Everything will be taken care by us only. To create the self-manager clusters, we have Minikube and Kubedium. By using those things, we can create the self-manager clusters. Right here, EKS is the one of the provider manager cluster. One more is AKS, Azure Kubernetes Service. That is right, Azure provider, guys. EKS means right, this AWS provider, guys. Like that, we have some of the provider manager clusters, guys. If you go with the provider manager clusters, everything will be taken care by the provider only. We don't need to worry, guys. Next, guys, IAM, Identity and Access Management. In the companies, guys, right, they want to provide the root account details to the employees, guys. They want to provide the AWS root account details. Why? Because in AWS, we have 250 plus services are there. Right? Unnecessarily, if you try to use those services, unnecessarily, lot of bill will generate, guys. That's why they want to provide root account details for the employees, guys. Then what they will do, they will create the IAM accounts, guys. For everyone, they will create the IAM accounts and they will provide the IAM accounts to you, guys. Right here, you are the IAM user, guys. Right, for you, right, they will create one group, guys. See, suppose right, you have joined as the DevOps engineer. Right, so they will create one DevOps group, guys, and they will add all the DevOps engineer into that group, guys. And for the DevOps group, they will add the policies, guys. Right, so for DevOps engineers, whatever the services they need to use, they will provide access only for those services, guys. Right, those services only they will give the access to the DevOps group. Right, all the DevOps engineers will be added to that group only. You can access only those services. Same for development testing, like that they will create the groups, they will add the users to the groups, and we can create the custom policies. Everything we will understand it here. Next, AWS CLI, guys. Right, if you want to access the AWS resources through user interface, we can access, and through AWS CLI through command line also we can access the AWS resources, guys. How to access the AWS resources through command line interface, we are going to understand here. Next, Elastic Beanstalk, guys. It generally, if you want to run any application, you should create the required platform. But if you don't have the time to create the platform, no problem. AWS is providing one platform as service, that is Elastic Beanstalk. Once your development is completed, just give that application to the Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic Beanstalk will create the required platform to run your application. Okay, next, AWS Lambdas, guys. This is serverless computing. AWS Lambdas is one of the serverless computing. Here we need to write the Lambda function, guys. Right, for suppose in my application I have the one function. I want to trigger that function, guys. To trigger that function, what I will do, I will create one Lambda function, right, and I will send the request to this Lambda function. Internally, this Lambda function will trigger that right, your application function, guys. Why we need to go for Lambdas? What are the advantages are there with Lambdas? We will discuss. And this is one of the important interview question, guys. Difference between Elastic Beanstalk and AWS Lambdas. This is one of the important interview question, guys. Both are right, the servers both are managing by the cloud or provider only, guys. We don't need to manage it here. That's why they will ask the differences, guys. And here I will provide some of the billing related information, guys. We have some of the few services, few things are open source and free, guys. Few things are paid, things are there, right? If bill got generated, how to request them to waive off the bill, right? Those things I will explain it here, guys. Guys, have a look into these services once. If you guys have any doubt in these services, now you guys can ask. I will take your questions, guys. Before that, meanwhile, please go through these services, whatever I have written here. And again, I will come back and I will take your questions. 2 minutes. Right. Right, guys. 1 minute. Guys, we are not going to establish the connection between on-premise to AWS cloud. Right. So if you are doing anything in the on-premise, then why you need to go for AWS cloud? If you are doing setup in the on-premises, then why you need to go for AWS cloud? So here everything we are going to do in the AWS cloud only. There is no on-premise concept here, guys. If you want to go with on-premise, then why again you need to go for the cloud, guys? So Linux, first tell me, Sai, what versions, currently what is the latest version in Linux? What is the latest version in Linux? Do you know that, Sai? 1 to 22, na? This is not version. These are not versions, Sai. These are the Linux distributions. We will call it as Linux distributions. Right? Ubuntu, CentOS, Amazon Linux, all these are the different distributions in the Linux. There is no versions in the Linux like Windows. In Windows, we have the versions like Windows 10, 11, like that we have different versions. But coming to Linux, we don't have the versions, we have the distributions. We will use multiple. Sometimes I will work with Ubuntu, sometimes I will work with Amazon Linux, sometimes I will work with Red Hat Linux. At different distributions I will use. I won't stick with the single distribution, I will use multiple. Now I am working as a IT admin, so if I think to join DevOps with AWS so that I can handle all the things because all tools and services is new for me. So how can I do? Please suggest. Right, 100% you can do. 100% you can do. Recently, one of the system admin, right, he joined, guys. He joined, right. He got the job also, right, in Capgemini with 22 lakhs package. He got the job. Earlier, he worked as the system admin, guys. Okay, happily you can do, and you can, right, definitely you will get the job also. How much experience you have? 9. So as IT admin, how much experience do you have? And how much experience you have? Right, Linux, which version? To migrate our data to AWS. Right, if you want to migrate our data to AWS, right, we are going to use mounting concept, guys. Here we have, suppose if you have the data in your system directories, guys. Assume I have stored the data in, I have created one directory and I stored the data inside the directory, guys. That directory is available in my machine, guys. Now here, what you can do, guys, you need to mount that directory to the, right, this containers, guys. We need to mount the directories to the, right, containers, guys. And whatever the data you have in the directory, that you can store inside the containers, guys. We have mounting concept, guys. With that mounting concept, right, we can migrate the data from, right, the directory to your container. At the same time, you can take the data from the container to your directory also by using mounting technique, guys. We need to do the mounts. Pass this question, Ravi Kumar. Already 37. Now I have BPO experience. Last 4 years I have career gap. I will get job or difficult. Last 4 years you have the career gap. So after completing this course, you can tell, right, from last 4 years you are working as DevOps and AWS engineer, right? So with that you will get the job. And whatever the career gap you have, you need to show that gap as the DevOps engineer, then you will get the job easily, man. Not a problem. No, Kiran. All these tools we are going to cover. These are the DevOps tools. Till now, I have noted only AWS services. Till now, I have noted only AWS services, Kiran. I haven't written the DevOps tools. Right, CI/CD, Jenkins, GitHub, Maven, Sonar, right? All these things will come under DevOps tools. Docker, Kubernetes, all these things will come under DevOps tools. Okay, people are confusing. People are confusing. No, guys. Till now, we have noted only AWS services. Right? Okay. Don't get confused. I will write those things also. Otherwise, people are confusing. See, guys, I'm going to write those things also, guys. Okay, fine. See, guys, right, introduction, guys. As part 3, what we are going to discuss? As part 3, we are going to discuss. Right, as part 3, we are going to discuss just the introduction, guys. Right here, I will talk what is DevOps. What is DevOps? Right, why DevOps? Why DevOps? Right. So what is SDLC? What is software development lifecycle? Next, methodologies in SDLC. Right. Next here, what is waterfall methodology? Right. What is Agile methodology? What is Agile methodology? Right, all these things we are going to discuss here. And in the introduction part, I will discuss all these things. Next, coming to DevOps tools. Coming to DevOps tools, as a first DevOps tool, right, we are going to understand. As a first DevOps tool, we are going to discuss about Maven, guys. And before going to start, right, that the main DevOps tools, just I will tell, right, job of DevOps engineer. As a DevOps engineer, what do you need to do? Job of DevOps engineer, I will explain it here, guys. After that, right, first tool I will start, guys. Right, what is the first tool we are going to discuss? Maven, guys. I will talk about the Maven. Next, I will discuss about the GitHub, guys. Right, GitHub I will discuss. Next, I will talk about the Jenkins. Right, Jenkins I will discuss. Next here, I will talk about SonarQube. SonarQube I will discuss. Next here, I will discuss about Tomcat. Next here, I will talk about Terraform. I will discuss. Next here, I will talk about Ansible. Next here, Docker. Right, Docker Swarm. Next here, Kubernetes. Next, guys, we have some of the monitoring tools, guys. We are going to discuss those monitoring tools also. What monitoring tools we are going to discuss, guys? Prometheus is there. Prometheus we are going to discuss. Right. Next, we are going to talk about Grafana. Right, Grafana. Next, we will talk about the ELK, and we will talk about Nexus. We will talk, and right, I will give the idea of Jira, right, ticketing tool. At Jira, I will discuss, guys. Right, all these things we are going to discuss in the DevOps, guys. All these tools we are going to discuss in the DevOps. What is Maven, guys? As a build tool, we are going to discuss Maven, guys. Maven is the build tool, guys. Okay, what is the GitHub, guys? It is the version controlling source code repository, guys. And here it is source code repository. And version controlling system. As a version controlling tool, we are going to discuss GitHub, guys. Version. Right, Jenkins, guys. What is this Jenkins, guys? Jenkins is the deployment tool, guys. Here we are going to understand how to create the CI/CD pipeline also. Everything we are going to discuss. Next, here we are going to discuss SonarQube. This is the code review purpose. We are going to understand SonarQube. Tomcat, guys. What is this Tomcat? Tomcat is the web server, guys. Web server, Tomcat we are going to discuss. Next here, Terraform, guys. Terraform we will use to create the infrastructure, guys. And this is IAC, infrastructure as code. Terraform we will use to create the infrastructure in the AWS cloud. Right, guys, Terraform is very important nowadays. If you know only Terraform also, we have a lot of openings in the market. And if you know only Terraform also, definitely you will get the job. That much demand is there for the Terraform. But before going to Terraform, you should know how to create the infrastructures using AWS UI, guys. We have AWS AWS management console is there, right? Through that AWS management console, how to create the infrastructure you should know. Then only you can create the infrastructure by using Terraform. Here you need to write some code, guys. You need to write some script to create the infrastructure. And if you want to do this, first you should have experience on UI, guys. How to create the infrastructure through UI, you should know that. Then only you can able to write the script to create the infrastructure by using Terraform. What is Ansible, guys? This is configuration management tool. As configuration management tool, right, we are going to discuss this Ansible, guys. Docker, guys. Docker is the containerization tool, guys. Docker is the containerization. As a containerization tool, we are going to understand Docker, guys. And here, Docker Swarm and Kubernetes, these two are the orchestration tools, guys. Right, Docker and Kubernetes, these two are Docker Swarm and Kubernetes are the orchestration tools, guys. Right, this is Prometheus, Grafana and ELK, these are the monitoring tools, guys. Monitoring tools, Prometheus, Grafana, ELK, these three are the monitoring tools. Nexus is the right artifactory repository, guys. Artifactory repository is the Nexus, guys. Jira is the ticketing tool, guys. Project management ticketing tool. Right, so these are the DevOps tools which we are going to discuss, guys. Okay, after that I will talk about the real-time project, and I will discuss the Python scripting, and I will take one session for the resume preparation also. Guys, the total duration of the course is at 3 months, at 3 months 15 days, guys. 3 months 15 days it will take, right? Course content is very huge, so we need to spend 3 months 15 days to complete all these things, guys. Okay, so daily class timings, guys. Daily class timings, class will start at 8:30 p.m. IST, guys. 8:30 p.m. IST class will start, guys. Okay, right, class notes, guys. Class notes, guys. I'm not going to download the notes from anywhere. Guys. How I am typing here, at the time of explaining only, I will type everything on the notepad like this. Once class is completed, I will share the notepad, guys. Whatever is coming from my mouth, everything I will put on the notepad and I will share the notepad, guys. Right? So if I share like that, once class is completed, if you go through that notepad, you can understand what we discussed in today's session. Right? Class notes, right? Once class is completed, I will share the class notes. Right? Next, guys, recordings, guys. Class recordings. Class recordings we will upload in the Google Drive. Right? You can access up to 1 year, guys. And with 1 year access, we are providing the class recordings, daily class notes. And we will share daily class notes, guys. We will share daily class notes on Telegram, guys. Right? In Telegram, we will share the class notes, and here at class recordings we will upload in the Google Drive, guys. Is it clear, guys? Clear? Guys, subject wise no compromise. Guys. Here whatever I mentioned, everything I will explain. Right? If you guys want, I will add. Right? Based on time, guys. Based on the time, if we have the time, definitely I will add a few more things. Right? So right here, whatever I mentioned here, everything I will explain, and if required, based on the time, I will add few more things also. You guys will get complete hands-on experience. Right? After completing this course in the companies, how 4 years people are working, same you guys also can work, right, confidently, guys. Clear, guys? Is it clear? Everything practically I will show, guys. Everything practically I will show.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I am expecting only one thing from you guys. Daily practice, guys. At least 2 hours practice must be required, guys. Right, day-to-day practice. Whatever we discussed in today's session, before coming to tomorrow's session, you guys should complete that practicing part, guys. And when I ask the questions, please respond. Then I can able to share more content, guys. From beginning till end. Right, so my voice like that, like this now, how I have from beginning to till end with the same base, it will go, guys. So if you provide the response, right, when I ask the questions, right, class fee and all those things, right, check with the Kalyan, they will tell, guys, class fee, course fee and everything. They will update, guys, about course fee and all. They will update, guys. Here course content, please focus, please spend 3 months of the time. Definitely you guys will get the job. Nowadays for DevOps and AWS, very good market is there, right? So till development, how long development is there? Till that time, DevOps and AWS also is there, guys. That's what I'm telling. And here backup videos up to 1 year access you will get. Right? So we will upload the videos in the Google Drive. Right? Till 1 year you can access these videos. Okay. Is it clear? If you guys are clear, I will stop for today. Starting package, you guys can expect the experience into 4 lakhs minimum. Experience into 4 lakhs minimum you guys can expect. Yesterday only one guy got the job in Zensar. Right, yesterday one guy got the job in Zensar. He have 4.2 years of experience. 4.2 years. For 4.2 years he got 18 lakhs package. For 4.2 18 lakhs package he got. Mock interviews, I'm ready to take the mock interviews, guys, based on your interest. Based on your interest, if you guys are ready for that, I'm ready to take the mock interviews, guys. No problem. Right, I will take 2 to 3 mock interviews, guys. Right, 2 to 3 mock interviews I will take, guys, if you guys are okay. Right, services wise, tools wise, I will provide the interview questions. Each and every service wise, each and every tool wise, I will provide the interview questions. In the AWS, I will provide 500 interview questions, guys. Non-IT background, that's what I'm telling. Right here, right, so anyone can learn this course. There is no dependency on any technology. Right, whether you are technical person or non-IT person, all right. So most of the people are coming from mechanical background, civil background only. To attend for this course, most of the people are coming from non-IT background only. Why? Because right here there is no coding. Here coding is 0%. Everything is Linux commands only. Small Linux commands only. Coding is 0%. That's why right, this is a best course for the non-IT people especially. If mechanical people or civil engineer background, if they want, right, if they want to go to the software industry, right, this DevOps and AWS is the best option. Okay. Any questions? Any other questions? Fine, guys. Fine. Tomorrow we have class at the same. I'm at age 50. Can I learn? I will get job at this stage. And currently, what you are doing, Mohammed Sohail, what you are doing currently? Administrator. How much experience you have in the administrator side? How much experience you have in administration side? 14 years. Very good. Right. So what is the right? So how much experience you have in the current company? How much experience you have in the current company? 4 years. Very good. right? So put total experience as 14 years, and right, in that 14 years relevant experience into DevOps and AWS, you can put 4 years and you can join. Put overall total experience is 14 years, relevant into DevOps and AWS, you can tell as 4+ years, then you will get the job. Okay, cost, right, fee and everything, right? So management team will tell, guys, they will update those fees details and everything, right? I don't have idea on that fees part, guys, they will discuss, right? So guys, subject wise, right, I'm the responsible. If you guys have any doubt, you guys can ask. I'm ready to deliver, guys. Okay, so you guys will get 100% hands-on experience here. Whatever the services I mentioned, whatever the DevOps tools I mentioned, right? So you guys can talk easily. If anybody asks about the AWS services or DevOps tools, you guys, right, definitely guys, 100% you guys will speak at least 1 hour about these tools and right, services, guys. Right, YML, guys, YAML script is very, very important, guys. Not only Ansible, guys, even in the Ansible, right, Kubernetes, everywhere we will write the YAML files only. YAML is very, very important. Manifest files in the Kubernetes, all the manifest files we will write using YAML only. In the Ansible also, right, we will write the playbooks, guys. In the Ansible, we will write the playbooks. Those playbooks are YAML files only. We are going to discuss YAML script also, how to write the YAML. That also we are going to discuss. Ansible, Kubernetes, everywhere we will use YAML files only. Clear? Fine, guys. Thanks for joining, guys. Tomorrow we will connect at same time, 8:30 p.m. IST, guys. So thanks for joining, guys. Thank you. Good night.